Harold, the coaches have talked a lot about all the improvements that they've seen Shedeur make. Is there an area that you've seen him grow the most since he's taken over as a starter?
Yeah. I mean, it could be something simple as him just, getting us in and out the huddle real quicker, faster.
That hesitation right there, that's not someone who's uncertain about football. That's someone choosing his words very carefully, because he knows exactly what kind of pressure he's walking into. Shedeur Sanders just gave us the most diplomatic non-answer of his rookie season, and the body language tells you everything his words won't. We're 8 games into his NFL career with the Cleveland Browns, and the narrative around this kid has shifted so dramatically that even he's started hedging his bets about next year. Remember when he was the confident swagger guy at Colorado? Watch what happens when reality meets expectation.
All right, thanks, Harold.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, guys, we'll let you know when Shedeur is on the way, but should be any minute.
Hey, Shedeur, I wanted to ask you, you're seeing the Steelers for the first time as a starter, but you went through the whole, preparation as the backup that week, the game in Pittsburgh. How much does that help you in this week's preparation now as a starter that you've...
There it is. Fresh set of eyes is always the best. Translation: that first Pittsburgh game was rough enough that I don't want to think about it anymore. The Browns got destroyed in that matchup, giving up 7 sacks, and Shedeur's trying to mentally reset before facing them again. But here's what's interesting about his approach. He's not doing the typical rookie thing where you talk about learning from mistakes. He's essentially saying forget it ever happened. That's either incredible mental toughness or concerning avoidance. And we're about to find out which one it is. The Steelers' defense exposed something that week. Harold Landry just mentioned their physicality, how they're trying to make you quit. And for a rookie quarterback behind a struggling offensive line, that's not just a challenge, it's a legitimate threat to your development.
He's seen you grow in the most is like stepping into the pocket and making those passes. And I know you've also talked about that being trust, that being so heavily reliant on trust. How much of that is trust in the team around you, and how much of that is trust in yourself too?
I think everything applies. It's trusting your eyes, trusting what you see, trusting how you've been prepared, trusting your coaching, trusting the skills that you developed over the weeks. I think it's all in one.
Now watch this answer carefully, because it reveals the coaching philosophy that's either going to make or break Shedeur's career. Trust your eyes. Trust what you see. Trust your coaching. Trust the skills you've developed. That's textbook quarterback development language. And it sounds great in theory, but notice what he's really describing. A rookie being asked to trust everything simultaneously while getting hit 7 times in one game. That's not a recipe for confidence, that's a recipe for hesitation, and hesitation gets quarterbacks hurt. Kevin Stefanski's putting a lot on this kid's shoulders. The 4th and 2 conversions, the scramble opportunities, the trust to make plays when protection breaks down. For a rookie, that's both a blessing and a curse.
All right, next go to Scott.
Hey, Shedeur, what does it mean for Kevin to say he's got all the faith in the world in you when it comes to 4th and 2 or other key situations?
It means a lot because having a coach's trust is a big thing, in this game. I think you build trust, but I think you get trust and you earn the trust of the coach by getting completions, by moving the ball down the field and doing what we do.
Having a coach's trust is a big thing. You build trust by getting completions, by moving the ball down the field. Sounds simple, right? Except the Browns are asking him to earn trust while simultaneously giving him high-pressure situations before he's proven he can handle them. That's the paradox of Shedeur's rookie season. He needs reps to build trust, but every rep comes with massive expectations because this franchise is desperate for quarterback stability. They haven't had consistent quarterback play in years, and they're treating Shedeur like he's the answer before he's had time to ask the questions. And here's where it gets complicated. 3 of his rookie classmates just got named Pro Bowl alternates. Harold Landry, Carson, Quinshan. The talent around Shedeur is getting recognized while he's still trying to figure out how to survive behind this offensive line.
For you, and I think Sunday you said defenses better get you now. So have you spent a lot of time thinking about just how much better it could look next year?
No, I live in the present. I'm focused on this week and this game, and each week and every game, like, because nothing's promised. Nothing's promised going into next year or anything. So I stay in the moment, stay focused on what I have to do now to even be able to be here next year. And I just enjoy life.
This is the worst it's going to be for you. Defenses are better get you now. That's the reporter essentially telling him it should get easier next year. And listen to Shedeur's response. I live in the present. Nothing's promised. That's not confidence. That's survival mode. That's a rookie who's been hit enough times to know that projecting into next season is a luxury he can't afford right now. He's focused on making it through this week, this game, this drive. The question becomes, is this the right mindset for development? Some coaches would love this week-to-week focus. Others would worry that he's not thinking big picture, not processing lessons that carry forward. It's the difference between surviving and thriving.
Shedeur, if you could look back on that first game and ball against the Ravens to now, where do you think you've improved the most?
If I were to look back from the Ravens game to now, I would it's I don't know. It's a tough one. That's a great question. Because I don't want to give you the typical answer of course mentally, but I would say I improved experience. I improved being in situations and understanding that failing, and I think those are all building blocks to be able to have success. I think sometimes you have to fail in certain areas and I like the route. I like the route that basically it took, and I like how everything went, because it's a lot of great building blocks that I'm able to learn from when it comes to life, when it comes to just me being a part of the organization, everything. Like, when I look back today and I look back at everything, I'm super appreciative that everything happened.
Now this answer right here is the most revealing moment of the entire press conference. The reporter asks about improvement from the Ravens game to now, and Shedeur takes almost 90 seconds to essentially say, I've learned how to fail. I don't want to give you the typical answer of mentally, but I would say I improved experience. I improved being in situations and understanding that failing is all building blocks to have success. Read between those lines. He's not saying I've gotten better at reading defenses or my footwork has improved. He's saying I've gotten better at handling failure. That's profound for a rookie, but it's also concerning for a franchise. The Browns need him to be progressing technically, not just emotionally. They need him developing as a passer, not just as someone who can cope with getting beaten up every Sunday. And then he adds this, I like the route it took. I like how everything went because it's a lot of great building blocks. That's someone convincing himself that struggle is the path, which it can be, but only if you're actually building something on top of those blocks. Right now, it sounds more like he's justifying a rough start rather than explaining tangible growth. The Ravens game he mentions, that was his debut. He went out there against an elite defense and didn't play his best, but that final drive showed flashes. That's what he's holding on to, that moment when he felt comfortable, when he could be himself. The problem is those moments are still too rare 8 games in.
Hey Shedeur, when Cam Ward came through here a couple weeks ago, you mentioned the differences in your situations.
Yeah.
And then just a few minutes ago, you said nothing's even promised for next year. Do you still not feel a commitment from the Browns about next year and you being the starter?
Nah, I don't think it's about feeling a commitment. I don't think it's about anything of that. It's about controlling what you can control as a person, as a player. I think I have to do my part. You know, I think I have to do my part and, you know, get some wins. I think I have to do my part and play clean football. And the rest isn't in my hands, you know.
And here's where the organizational uncertainty becomes impossible to ignore. The reporter asks directly, "Do you feel a commitment from the Browns about next year?" And Shedeur's answer is brutally honest in what it doesn't say. "I don't think it's about feeling the commitment. It's about controlling what you can control as a person. As a player, I have to do my part. I have to get some wins. I have to play clean football and the rest is in my hands." Notice what's missing there. Any mention of the Browns committing to him. He even says it explicitly. "I don't own the organization. I can't promise anything will happen. I'm not God, I can't dictate what's going to happen each and every minute." That's a rookie quarterback 8 games into his career already talking like he might not be here next year. Compare that to Cam Ward, who he mentioned a couple weeks ago. Ward came through Cleveland and the difference in their situations was stark enough that Shedeur felt the need to comment on it. Ward walked into a stable situation with organizational commitment. Shedeur walked into uncertainty, and it's affecting how he talks about his own future.
Okay, and my second question is, in your season now, your first season here, have you grown an appreciation of what beating the Steelers means to Browns fans yet? I know you didn't win the first game in Pittsburgh, but a sense of the rivalry with this team.
I know getting a win versus any team means a lot for the Browns. So I mean, you go in each and every game with motivation and with what you feel like you need to do within the scheme and understand how you need to play for you to be able to go out there and have success. So I approach every game this.
The reporter follows up asking about the rivalry with Pittsburgh, trying to get him to show some fire, some passion about beating a division opponent. And Shedeur gives the most robotic answer possible. "Winning versus any team means a lot for the Browns. So I approach every game the same. That's not how rivalries work. That's not how you build a connection with a fan base that lives and dies by beating the Steelers twice a year." Browns fans needed to hear something, anything, that showed he understands what this game means to them. Instead, they got corporate speak. And maybe that's unfair. Maybe that's asking too much of a rookie who's just trying to survive. But it's also a missed opportunity to show he's invested in this franchise beyond just his own development.
Shedeur, Pittsburgh got a 7-8 sacks against the Browns in the first meeting. Just for you, what will it take just going up against that Pittsburgh pass rush?
I focus on what we gotta focus on. I don't focus on past stats and all that stuff like that. It serves no purpose. Cause if you just hear that, then you already losing mentally. You're losing because like they could get some sacks. So now you mentally you're not mentally in it. You already lost before you even showed up. So I tend to like live in the present and not really think about the past.
The reporter brings up the 7 sacks from the first Pittsburgh game, and Shedeur immediately shuts it down. "I don't focus on past stats. That serves no purpose, because if you hear that, then you already lose it mentally. You're losing because they could get some sacks and now mentally you already lost before you even showed up. On one level, that's smart. Don't let negative statistics get in your head. But on another level, it's concerning that he won't even acknowledge the protection issues. 7 sacks isn't just a stat, it's a systematic failure that needs to be addressed. And if the quarterback won't talk about it, who will? The follow-up question about knowing when to scramble versus when to slide gets an even more telling response. "I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't have those answers. Everything's natural when it happens." 8 games in, and he's still figuring out basic quarterback survival skills. So, let's synthesize what we're actually watching here. Because this press conference reveals something much bigger than just a rookie quarterback struggling with tough questions. This is a window into organizational dysfunction disguised as player development. The Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders with the expectation that he'd be their franchise quarterback. They gave him the starting job immediately, threw him into high-pressure situations, and told him to earn their trust while simultaneously trusting everything around him. That's not a development plan, that's hoping for a miracle. 8 games into his career, Shedeur can't talk confidently about next year. He can't point to specific technical improvements. He can't even acknowledge the protection problems that led to 7 sacks in one game without worrying it'll mess with his mental state. That's not where a first-round quarterback should be at this point in the season. But here's the thing that makes this situation so complicated. None of this is entirely his fault. The offensive line has been inconsistent at best. The play calling has put him in positions where he has to make perfect decisions under pressure. The organizational instability means he doesn't even know if the coaching staff that's teaching him these systems will be here next year. Look at how he talks about trust. He says you build trust with completions, with moving the ball, with doing what they did last game. That's results-based trust, not process-based trust. The Browns are essentially telling him, prove it every week or we might move on. That's not how you develop a young quarterback. That's how you ruin one. Compare his situation to the other rookie quarterbacks in his class. The ones who got named Pro Bowl alternates are playing in systems designed to maximize their strengths while minimizing their weaknesses. Shedeur's playing in a system that asks him to do everything. Read complex defenses, make quick decisions under pressure, scramble when protection breaks down, slide at the right time, and somehow maintain confidence when things go wrong. The fresh set of eyes comment about the Pittsburgh game is particularly revealing. He's not reviewing film to learn from mistakes, he's trying to forget the game ever happened. That's trauma response, not growth mindset. And when your rookie quarterback is approaching games like he needs to mentally reset rather than technically prepare, you've got a development problem. Kevin Stefanski keeps talking about having faith in Shedeur, about trusting him in 4th and 2 situations, about giving him opportunities to make plays. But trust without support is just pressure, and pressure without proper development is how you break a quarterback's confidence before he ever reaches his potential. The most damning evidence is how Shedeur talks about his own improvement. When asked directly what he's gotten better at, he couldn't point to footwork, pocket presence, reading defenses, or any technical skill. He said he's gotten better at handling failure. That's emotional survival, not quarterback development. And maybe that's the most valuable skill for a Browns quarterback right now. Maybe learning to cope with failure, to compartmentalize bad games, to avoid letting negative statistics affect your mental state is exactly what you need to survive in Cleveland. But it's a depressing thought that 8 games into a rookie season, the primary growth is in failure management rather than football skills. The organizational uncertainty hangs over everything. When the reporter asked about commitment for next year, Shedeur couldn't even pretend there was a plan. He fell back on controlling what he can control, which is the kind of thing players say when they know their future is uncertain. No rookie quarterback should be talking like that 8 games in. Here's what makes this particularly frustrating for Browns fans. They've seen this movie before. They've watched promising young quarterbacks come through Cleveland, struggle behind bad lines, deal with organizational chaos, and eventually flame out or leave for other teams where they find success. The cycle repeats because the infrastructure never changes. Shedeur Sanders has talent. You don't get drafted in the first round without it. But talent without proper development, without organizational stability, without a coherent plan for growth is just wasted potential. And right now that's what we're watching. A talented rookie trying to survive rather than thrive. The Pittsburgh game coming up is a test, but not the kind of test it should be. It shouldn't be about whether Shedeur can avoid getting sacked 7 times again. It should be about whether he's showing technical growth, whether the offensive line has improved, whether the play calling is setting him up for success. Instead, it's going to be about survival, about mental toughness, about whether he can handle the physicality without tapping out. That's not quarterback development, that's gladiator training, and the Browns need to figure out the difference before they waste another talented quarterback's potential on a broken system that prioritizes immediate results over long-term growth. So where does this leave us? With a rookie quarterback who's learning to cope with failure instead of learning to succeed, with an organization that can't commit to its own first-round pick 8 games into his career, with a fan base that desperately wants to believe this time will be different, even as all the same warning signs appear. The question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders can survive in Cleveland. The question is whether Cleveland can create an environment where he doesn't have to just survive. because right now, that's all he's doing, and survival mode might get you through a season, but it doesn't build franchise quarterbacks. What do you think? Is this just rookie growing pains, or are the Browns already mishandling their potential franchise quarterback? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more honest breakdowns of what's really happening in the league, hit that subscribe button, because we're not here to repeat the same tired narratives, we're here to show you what's actually going on behind the press conference answer.